Well, welcome to another edition of the Great Indian Election. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to take a look at the western state of Gujarat and why Gujarat matters as India decides in 2024. I am Anil Thomas. Let's get started. Well, Gujarat is the homeland of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and the Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. It has gained fame for the world's tallest statue, the Statue of Unity. The western state is a BJP fortress which stood the test of time not once but over a decade. The melting pot of cultures and close proximity with maximum city Mumbai makes it the fusion capital of food and trade. Can the state help make it a hat-trick of wins for the ruling dispensation, or do we see the opposition make a match as India decides in 2024?
A kaleidoscope of culture, heritage and tradition. The Western Indian state of Gujarat has a diverse history, rich heritage and a vibrant community of traders active since the era of Indus Valley civilization. After India's independence in 1947, all of Gujarat except Saurashtra and Kutch became part of Bombay state. It was on May 1st, 1960 the Bombay state split into two states and Gujarat came into being along with Maharashtra. With the longest coastline of about 1600 kilometers, having world-class ports, Gujarat is the hub of domestic as well as international trade and commerce and attracts tourists from across the globe. Hailed as the land of Mahatma Gandhi, who was born in Porbandar, the state attracts tourists for its festivals like the Ran Utsav, the Kite Festival or Uttarayan, and the annual Navratri Mahotsav or the 9-day festival around the Shahra. Famous for heritage sites like Dholavira, Lothal and the Sun Temple of Modhera, Gujarat's traditional Garba dance has been inscribed in the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity by UNESCO. Along with tourism, the political dynamics in the state are also quite engaging. In the 2024 general elections, the state of Gujarat is going to polls for its 26 Lok Sabha or lower house seats in a single phase, slated for the third phase on May 7th. The state has a total number of voters 49.4 million, out of which 25.4 million are male voters, 23.9 million are female voters, while about 1,503 belong to the third gender community. In the 2019 general elections, Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP swept the polls and won all the 26 seats on its own for the second time in a row. Gujarat is currently governed by the BJP that bagged majority seats in the state assembly elections held in 2022. Other prominent parties in the state include the Indian National Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. As the battle lines for the 2024 general elections stand drawn, the state is expecting direct fights of BJP with Congress and AAP in different pockets of Gujarat. Election Desk, DD India.
Well, it's the BJP fortress. 2 or 1 decade that you see elections in Gujarat. There is not much that one can choose purely when one takes a look at this 26 seats and the way the people of Gujarat vote for the BJP. A quick look at the western state of Gujarat, when it would vote. Well, that's the western part of Gujarat next to Maharashtra there. That's where Gujarat comes, and next to Rajasthan on the other half, you've got Gujarat that goes to polls in a single phase, 26 seats. Remember, the only seat in Surat where the candidate has been decided or elected without Mukesh Dalal, elected without election. So 25 seats there. I've shifted the parameters a bit. If you look at the last 2 elections, there is not much that you can talk about when it comes to Gujarat. Broaden it to another 5 years, 2009, you've got BJP backing 15, Congress backing 11. but post that 2014, there was a vote for change all over India. 2019, that particular fortress has not been breached by the opposition. This time around, there is a combination of sorts. Can they trouble the BJP there in its citadel? That's worth looking out for. The voting percentage, not much of change, but looking at the national average, not impressive numbers either for 2019 or for 2014. National average a little over 67, almost 3% drop when it comes to looking at the election or the voting pattern in Gujarat. The assembly elections 2017, the BJP's war cry was 100 or across 100. The BJP was stuck at 99, but still, and the Congress managed to reach 77. But 5 years later, it's a mammoth landslide victory there for the BJP, 156. The Congress reduced to 17. AAP opening its account. The Aam Aadmi Party managing to get 5 seats. And 2024, this particular result has thrown up a combination that we look at in terms of alliances. But again, voting patterns very much similar to the Lok Sabha elections that you see even in the assembly elections. 64%, 68% in 2017. Now coming to the alliance part of it, on how the alliances have been. Remember, 26 seats, that seat of Surat has been elected unopposed. So there are 25 seats that the BJP goes solo. But there is a opposition camp. There is an alliance of sorts. Two national parties have come together. The Congress picking up 24, AAP picking up 2. So that's how this particular elections will be fought out. Bhavnagar is the place from where the AAP candidate would be fighting. These are some of the important seats in Gujarat. Amit Shah, the Home Minister from Gandhinagar, the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia, Rajya Sabha MP now shifting to Lok Sabha. They are fighting from Porbandar. The BJP State President C.R. Patil fighting from Navsari, looking for his 4th term. Purushottam Rupala, Union Minister for Fisheries, Dairy and Farming, fighting from Rajkot. Also from the opposite camp, taking on Amit Shah is Sonal Patel from Gandhinagar, Paresh Dhanani from Rajkot, Lalit Bhai Vasoya from Porbandar, and from Navsari you've got N. Desai, making it an interesting political battle that you would see in Gujarat. Well, a lot of talking points from Gujarat, irrespective of the fact that it is one-way traffic when it comes to elections. But this particular elections, it's the youth and the elderly that have thrown surprises when it comes to coming out in large numbers and voting. How have the senior citizens, how have they gone about voting in this particular elections? We've got our correspondent Nupur who rather takes a deep dive into how senior citizens are enjoying this festival of democracy. Take a look.
In the heart of a nation where every vote counts, a silent yet formidable force rises. Amidst the hustle and bustle of urban apathy, the wisdom of our elders stands strong.
In the city that you live in, there would be a lot of trees. Most of them young and fresh, that bloom hope. But there would also be trees that are old and barren. They talk about resilience and wisdom. In the parliamentary elections of 2024, India's old and wise, the senior citizens, are set to rewrite the narrative of voter participation.
With nearly 970 million registered to vote, this year's general elections in India is witnessing a historic surge. Among these, 10.8 million voters are 80 years and above, including over 200,000 centenarian voters. For the elderly, voting is not just a duty, but a fundamental political right and a matter of individual choice.
वोट डाल के बहुत खुशी मिलती है। एक-एक वोट से ही एक-एक बूंद से ही गड़ा बढ़ता है।
मैं तो 18 साल की उम्र से वोट डाल रही हूँ। ये मेरा अधिकार है।
मैं पिछले 50 साल से वोट करने जा रहा हूँ और अच्छी सरकार तो तभी बनेगी जब कोई अच्छी सरकार आएगी और देश का हमारा तरक्की करेगा।
हमें 5 साल में तो ये आता है मौका कि हमें अपना देश का कुछ अच्छा प्रधानमंत्री या मंत्री अच्छे ढूंढने चाहिए।
Most important thing, and every Indian must vote.
It's high time we share the enthusiasm of the senior citizens around us and take part in the biggest festival of democracy.
In a landscape where change is inevitable, the roots of our democracy run deep. And it is anchored by the resolve and wisdom of these elderly citizens of India and the aspirations of the youth. The multi-phased elections to elect the 18th Lok Sabha is underway, and it is your time to go out and vote. With camera person Naveen, this is Nupur Praveen for DD India.
Well, Nupur bringing that fantastic story on the resilience, the firepower, the trailblazers that the senior citizens are. Well, now coming back to the state of Gujarat, the western state of Gujarat. 3 questions that we are looking for answers on the show tonight. First, is it a fight or a sweep in Gujarat? Second, what are the reasons for the opposition being hopeful? Finally, issues that could find resonance in the 2024 elections. Well, to get a perspective on how this particular elections in Gujarat could play out, joining us 2 eminent senior journalists this evening to take this deliberation forward. Joining us in the studios is Aditi Tandon and also Shekhar Iyer to take us through or help us navigate, understand Gujarat for us. Let me first come to you, Aditi. Aditi, looking at this fortress that the BJP has, time and again, it's given a clean sweep for the BJP. Can they make it a hat-trick of wins from Gujarat?
I don't see a problem with that at all, simply because Gujarat, Anil, is the proverbial backyard of the BJP. It is one state where the party, right after its formation in 1980, for the first time won double digits. It is the state where once it came to government in 1995, it never lost power. And never did the vote share of the BJP fall below 43% through assembly or Lok Sabha elections since a long span beginning 1995. And moreover, it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah's home state. So the added advantage, which is emotional, which is psychological, plus electoral and political. So given the current landscape of the Gujarat politics, I do not see any challenge to the BJP. I do see a clear hat-trick.
Okay, clear hat-trick on the cards. Shekhar, do you hold the same thought? Or do you see the opposition, getting some kind of hope looking at the battle ahead?
Well, Aditi put it very beautifully, the kind of scenario that is there. Because this election is a Lok Sabha election, parliamentary election. And people of Gujarat, even in the assembly elections, you saw the kind of the mandate they gave to the BJP was in fact largely because of the Prime Minister's overwhelming presence in the assembly elections. His persona was there everywhere. Because it was seen a vote for BJP is actually a vote for the Prime Minister. I do not see the scenario changing for parliamentary elections because, as Aditi just mentioned, that people of Gujarat consider that Narendra Bhai Modi is one of them who is representing them in Delhi. And Gujarat people are very proud of the fact that, they have one of their own, people who has reached the highest office in this country. Therefore, there is a lot of emotional connect with the Prime Minister and also the fact that the Home Minister is contesting from there. Yes, there are some constituencies where the Congress is hopeful that it can get some support of some community members and pose a challenge. But I think still when it comes to voting for the Prime Minister, I think the answer will be overwhelmingly for the BJP. The Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress have entered into an alliance, and we just saw Aam Aadmi is contesting in 2 places, that is Bhavnagar and Bharuch. And even in the assembly elections, the Congress of course felt that the fact that Aam Aadmi Party put up candidates in so many constituencies, it eat into the Congress votes rather than creating its own base. So subsequently now they have decided that 2 seats have been given. But bigger problem, Anil, what I would say is, after Congress lost a stalwart like Ahmed Patel, who belonged to Gujarat, since then, there are things that in Gujarat, particularly in the Congress, has not been, I would say, to a best of situation. Okay. Because you saw where the Surat candidate, filed his nomination papers, the Congress candidate, and subsequently his papers were rejected because they were not properly filled. And other candidates who were in the fray, they also withdrew. Now, without going into the reasons as to what happened, the fact is that one seat to Surat. Surat is a very important constituency in southern Gujarat, South Gujarat. So, already you find the contest is only for 25 seats because he has already been declared unopposed. So I think the Congress leadership too did not pay much attention, after the last assembly election, which Congress got a drubbing, no doubt about it. So I feel the challenge is stupendous, and whether the opposition can really, face up to it. Of course, some issues have been raised about some statement made by BJP candidates and some community getting upset. But these things I do not think overall will change the big picture that will emerge from Gujarat.
Okay. Aditi, looking at the stronghold that BJP has in Gujarat, are you surprised by the number of changes that have been made? 14 MPs getting dropped and new names getting included. Did that surprise you? Looking at the iron grip that Gujarat has, especially when it comes to the Prime Minister as well as the Home Minister coming from the state and the control they enjoy.
It was pretty unsurprising to me, simply because anybody who has watched the BJP from close quarters for a while will know why it is not surprising, and I'll tell you why. You would remember that even on the eve of 2022 Gujarat elections, not only the sitting Chief Minister was replaced, Mr. Vijay Rupani, the entire cabinet was replaced.
True.
And overnight we had a first time MLA Bhupendra Patel coming in. And how did you see the sentiment on the ground? 4/5 majority, that was the highest ever majority that the BJP and any party has ever won in Gujarat. The last record was clocked by Madhav Singh Solanki of the Congress in 1985 when 149 seats were won. So my assessment of this ruling party is that they go to extra lengths in order to secure their citadels. They are not people who sit on their laurels. They are not people who will leave even one corner uncovered. So the strategy of dropping incumbents is part of the BJP's overall strategy of dropping 33 to 35% sitting MPs all the time. If you analyze the entire BJP list also, which I actually did in one of my research pieces, I did find that more than 100 MPs have already been dropped so far, and the entire list that has been released, and that roughly actually will translate eventually to 33%. So Gujarat, being a state where pride of Prime Minister, pride of Home Minister, historical legacy of the Ram Mandir movement is there, because don't forget, Anil, that the Rath Yatra which L.K. Advani ji launched, that began from Somnath. So in this particular election, Gujarat has an even greater value, because Ram Mandir is an emotive civilizational issue which the BJP is presenting very vociferously, very vehemently. And even to that extent, we should not forget that Gujarat becomes important not only because it is the home state, the native state of important leaders of the party, but also because it is literally the cradle of the BJP's most important and passionate issue, which is the Ram Mandir. So they have dropped sitting MPs in order to cover corners, just in case there are any.
Okay. Shekhar, in that situation, what could be some of the issues that could, find resonance in this election?
Well, anti-incumbency was an issue which the BJP has addressed by, changing candidates. That is one aspect. And the second aspect is, when it comes to the overall picture of a constituency, there are developmental issues, there are issues relating to, in some places, the water problems in some areas are there, but those are very localized issues, because this is a parliamentary election. Because these issues should have played out in the assembly election. They didn't play out. The message that the Prime Minister even gave in the assembly election, that this is very important to send a message before the Lok Sabha elections. So therefore, I do not see any kind of very big upsets happening. In fact, one should not be surprised if the things are repeated. But at the same time, one must also take note that the Congress has not been able to put its best foot forward, both in terms of organizationally, in terms of leadership, and somewhere along, many of those senior leaders who used to be the face of the Gujarat Congress, many of them have, somehow withdrawn themselves. I don't want to name the leaders, but some of the leaders are no more so active because they are not very happy with the state of affairs in the organizational matters. So that is why I feel the opposition perhaps could have put up a more tougher fight. But because of inherent problems within the Congress in Gujarat, I think this battle is not going to create a big difference.
Okay, Aditi, another issue, youth and women, they have somewhere been the backbone of BJP's election success. Do you see that trend continue? The first two phases, we're still looking at initial reports, but how do you sense youth and women, once again backing BJP to the hill?
Women remains a very important and visibly dedicated loyal constituency of the BJP, primarily because of the extra pitch and push that the Prime Minister has been given to this constituency. And as far as the first time voters are concerned, Anil, although the first two phases have not shown us very encouraging results with respect to first time voters coming out to vote, but women are largely, I think, holding up as far as the trends are concerned. And Gujarat also will see a lot of women come and vote, because we have seen that wherever the BJP has been winning in the past, these are actually states where women have outnumbered male voters.
Shekhar, your thoughts, especially on the voters this time around, thinking beyond the caste lines when it comes to voting in Gujarat, do you see the possibility of that? Or, looking at the way things are, that can be completely ruled out?
No, in Gujarat as well as in the rest of the country, the issue is it a vote for Modi getting a third term, or is it not for Modi? This is the basic, it has come down to this. Voters are not, of course, in that comes all other things, the issues before them, the problems that they face, and who is best equipped to deliver on the ground, who is best equipped to solve their problems. When it comes to that, I can see that the Prime Minister's past 10-year record, India government's various policy initiatives, those are the campaign issues that are being talked about. And as far as polling percentage is concerned, well, we are comparing with 2019. 2019 was a very unusual year, I would say an unusual election year, because you saw a tremendous response, particularly, there was the Balakot strike, terrorism was a major thing, and people wanted to, come out and give a very, very a stronger message that they are with the Prime Minister. So this time maybe there is a feeling that perhaps the BJP is probably all set to return to power for a third time. So there is a tendency to think, look, that kind of a passionate push may not be required. And also the fact, of course, some people say there's nothing to do with the weather, but I can see that the weather is also playing havoc this time because of tremendous heat we are seeing in many of the states. So that could be one reason. Of course, there is the urban phenomena where in big cities you find the so-called the middle class or the apartment people, quote unquote. They do not turn up in enough number, and that's an urban problem. Of course, Election Commission has been making efforts constantly to see that come out. And of course, there were reports that even there were many people who had crossed the age of 18 but had not registered themselves. Then also that first time voters have not been as enthusiastic they were initially, say in 14 or 19. Well, these are issues, but then this has no bearing on the final outcome, because whatever vote that has been cast, those are going to be counted. On that basis, you will get to know the outcome of these 2024 elections. Anil.
Okay, we are running short of time. I would have loved to continue discussing Gujarat, but the Great Indian Election is your one-stop show on weekdays on all that matters in Indian elections of 2024. What could be the state that could be part of our deep dive on Tuesday night? Let's take a look. Chhattisgarh gets ready for another record voter turnout as 7 seats go to polls in the third phase. 11 seats across 3 phases, with voter turnout expected to beat 2019 numbers. How will the Rice Bowl of India play out the linear battle between political parties in 2024? Watch why Chhattisgarh matters on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST, only on DD India. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the Great Indian Elections. Time for me to thank both our esteemed guests in the studios, Aditi Tandon as well as Shekhar Iyer, joining us, helping us understand Gujarat and the dynamics that it presents, especially before the electorate and the voters in 2024. Well, you can connect with us on Facebook, X, Instagram. That's it from me and my entire team. Thanks for watching. Good night. Stay safe. Take care.